You got me cooking side to side.
Hey aficionados, Shawn and Miguel here with a nice little side-by-side tasting of a few Easter eggs. So these are really special variants of Bourbon County that were basically, they weren't announced. They were put out into the market in the Chicago area, I believe. And they look no different than any of the regular Bourbon County variants that came out in 2020. But there's a little code on each bottle, and each one has different letters on it. So this one's WT, that one's BT, and the middle one is HH. And those stand for the specific type of barrel each one of these are aged in. So these are all single barrel versions of Bourbon County, with the one on the left being Buffalo Trace, the one in the middle here, Heaven Hill, and then the one on the right here, Wild Turkey.
Now, as you know, normally Bourbon County is a blend of different barrel-aged. So this is going to be very interesting, seeing how Bourbon County tastes being aged in only one barrel.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how the different barrels are going to affect the flavor of Bourbon County. And I was lucky enough to get my hands on these, and I can't wait to try them out. So let's jump into this. It's going to be probably a long video, so let's try these out. The one on the left here is Buffalo Trace, middle, Heaven Hill, right, Wild Turkey. And we'll just go through from left to right. So we'll start with the Buffalo Trace. Ooh. So that smells... I mean, it doesn't smell too much different than regular Bourbon County. It does have a lot of dark fruitiness, I noticed.
Yeah, a lot of molasses, dark fruits.
Yeah, like I get a lot of... It's almost like prune juice to me or something like that.
Yeah. Actually, I kind of want to smell them all in turn and compare that before you drink.
All right, so we'll switch the aroma in the middle one.
This one's more coffee.
Yeah, so and this Heaven Hill one, I notice more of a fudginess, like more of like a chocolatey kind of note.
I'm also getting a little bit more coffee out of this one too.
Yeah. A little bit more like fudge brownies or something like that. Still nice like bourbon kind of sweetness in there too. And we'll get the aroma a little bit on the Wild Turkey.
This one kind of has more of a whiskey smell to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I get a lot of like toffee and oakiness, vanilla, booziness. Yeah.
Okay, let's dig into them.
Let's get the taste of
Number one, Buffalo Trace. Cheers.
That is a lot of dark fruits.
Yeah.
That is, again, it's like...
Very sweet.
Like prune juice or like plums or like... Definitely like raisins. It's got a little bit of a chocolatey note to it as well. Toffee. Almost like raisin bread a little bit.
Oh,
with
yeah.
like chocolate.
There's like a brown sugar type sweetness in there too.
Yeah. It's pretty boozy. Definitely pretty sweet though. Like, yeah.
Very sweet. Okay.
Let's get the taste on the Heaven Hill.
Heaven's Hill. Cheers.
Oh, so that is much more dark. Like I get like a char, like oak, wood kind of character.
It's definitely a lot more roasty.
Roasty, yeah. Like coffee, roast, and just like a really dark roast coffee.
I'm getting more of like an astringency in there too.
Yeah, there's definitely more of a bitterness to this one. Definitely not the same sort of like sweet, dark fruity, almost desserty kind of presence in the Buffalo Trace. Yeah, it's almost even like smoky or...
Yeah, definitely.
And lots of dark fruits. Or not dark fruits, sorry. Dark chocolate. And roast. Yeah. All right. Taste on Wild Turkey. So this to me is like more like booze.
Yeah,
This has
a
like
lot stronger. It tastes more like whiskey.
Yeah, it has a very strong kind of like bourbon whiskey like spirit profile.
The alcohol comes through a lot heavier on this one.
It feels hotter. Yeah. Like it has that the tannins, like the oakiness a lot. Comes off as a little bit drier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's nice though. And they're all really different.
They're all really, yeah, I'm very surprised at how different they all are.
There's a little bit of a dark fruit presence in the Wild Turkey as well. It's definitely not as like that. That's the barrel character takes over in this one. Like there's not much of like the base sort of stout notes hanging around as much. A little bit of like dark chocolatey, but that Heaven Hill is really heavy in the roast and dark chocolate, and just like the char and oak.
Oh yeah.
And then going back to the Buffalo Trace, it is very sweet. It is like so many dark fruits in there. It almost drinks a little bit like a quad to me or something like that.
Yeah,
like it is
it really does.
so heavy, dark fruited.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of incredible. Like I expected there to be subtle differences. I didn't expect them to taste like different beers.
Yeah. They really do. They're all completely different.
My rankings are as follows. Number 1, I am going to give to the Wild Turkey. I really enjoyed this one. Just the fact that it's so spirit forward, the fact that it tastes so boozy and like feels like drinking a good whiskey. I love that. My number 2, I'm giving to Buffalo Trace. Now, this was a hard one for me because on the one level, I feel like the Buffalo Trace is sort of the one that's most similar to Bourbon County on its own. At the same time, just it's so beautiful and it packs such a flavor punch of those dark stone fruits that like black cherry, and it almost has like a vanilla Coke like characteristic to it. And so I just fell in love with the flavor profile, and it was just too compelling for me to put it dead last. And Heaven Hill is this one's also really good. It's the most balanced out of the 3, which is why I think I put it last. Because as the most balanced one, it doesn't stand out as much as the other 2, although it does offer an amazing drinking experience. So it's got that roastiness, it's got a really nice body to it, but the flavors just didn't stand out to me as much as these 2. So they're all great, but those are my personal rankings.
Yeah. My rankings are going to be pretty much identical. So I would put the Wild Turkey as my favorite because, again, I love how spirit forward it is, and it just tastes like a really good whiskey, and it's one that I just want to sit there and sip on. And it's probably the most unique of the bunch in terms of like barrel aging. And then my next is going to be, this was tough. I was really close between the Heaven Hill and the Buffalo Trace. The Heaven Hill I really like because, again, I feel like it has a little bit more body than the others. It has those stout characteristics, and I really like the kind of like different kind of char barrel character that you're getting from it. But with that said, I feel like because it's not quite as barrel forward and doesn't have some of those barrel complexities as the Buffalo Trace and the Wild Turkey, I'm going to put the Buffalo Trace at second. But these are all very close. And I was actually curious. So I looked up the ratings on Untappd. And right now, they're all 4.52 on Untappd. So the same exact ratings. These are all like neck and neck with each other. It just kind of so happens that we have the same taste preferences on these. Again, maybe on a different day I would have put these in a different ranking. But these are all like A+ beers for me.